Today we look at the workflow going from Sketchfab to AccuRig to Unreal Lyra. We start with Sketchfab having a nice Fortnite model here. The Starly coming from one fennel. It's attribution license, so meaning I have really to mention who's that from and how to link to it. There are different formats. FBX is the one that you can directly suggest into AccuRig, otherwise you would have to convert in Blender first. So I download the FBX format, extract it, and then just upload it to AccuRig. AccuRig is a free software coming from the character creator group and heavily recommended because for me it's the easiest way to automatically rig things, at least rig humanoids. Yeah, that's the limitation. So you just put your FBX in there. And having said that, there are always a couple of exports from Sketchfab that will not work, yeah, for whatever reason. So you have to play around a bit. So just maximize it, rig the body. And you see here, these markers should be the points that the rigging will target. Looks good so far. If you are not satisfied, you can change them around. Best make them symmetric. Then both of them will actually react accordingly. Up here, that should be placed on the lips, and the rest I think looks good. So we rig the hand. It's 5 fingers in our case. And looking at these finger joints, I think they are perfect without any interaction from my side. Yeah, let's keep it and do the same with the other hand and finalize. Here you have a couple of animations that you can try out. And if you see that the rig looks nearly perfect, at least on our level here. So inclusive of hands, hand movements and everything. So perfect for us. Let's have a look at the walk. You can manipulate it a bit with this pose offset, but we are satisfied and just export it again to an FBX with Unreal as a target. We embed the textures and just export that. New one, okay. So now let's bring that back into our plugin. We are here in our plugin in the characters, tagged actors. I have a couple of tagged actors already imported. Let's make a new folder for our Starly and just drop it in. Looking at the import settings, you want to have the skeleton mesh, obviously, and the rest should be more or less standard. And yeah, let's create new materials. That might be something that you can optimize. And yeah, some warnings with smoothing groups, but other than that, it looks good. So here's our skeleton mesh. Here's our skeleton. You see there are a lot of more things around the skirt that are not used by the standard animation, but here we have all the spines that are needed. So that looks very, very good. Now we need the animation blueprint. Remember the video with the pirates. We look for animation blueprint, UE4, right click, retarget, duplicate. We choose a retargeter going from UE4 to 5. It should be as target Starly. We want to change the directory again, Starly. Here it is. And we, wrong retargeter. Let's put it one below. That one is the right one. And again, Starly as a target. And now we're ready to go. So animation blueprint created. That is great. Let's rename it to Starly so that we can find it again. And then we need this tagged actor class. This B underscore something. We take it from a woman because we have a female here. So just copy Lara Croft and rename again to Starly. Let's open that. We have just to set the mesh. 2 things here. The skeleton mesh asset is again our Starly, and the animation blueprint is again the newly created Starly animation blueprint. So compile, save. Let's make it a standard. Yeah. So go back to our tagged actors. There it is this character parts changer. On initialize, I remove all parts. Good, in this case, there should not be any. And here we set as a new character part our Starly that we just created. Compiling, and let's try it out. Yeah, looks good, I would say. Standard animations really here. Looks very natural. So we are fine. Now we have a mechanism here to reskin our Starly to somebody else. Oh, now we are Benedetta, also coming from Sketchfab, by the way. And let's have a look how that works. It's very similar to the teleporter. I will not go through all the details fine-grained, because just have a look at the teleporter tutorial. It's doing really the very, very same here. Okay, we have a couple of things. We have a billboard, we have a kind of icon that we want to show, and we have our small reskinner. Here for this icon, we take the skeleton mesh of our Starly, make it a bit smaller. Still 04, okay, yeah, looks good. Then for the text, that is our billboard with a web page that should be opened when I click on it. That is as a display name, Starly again. And as the URL, it's the URL coming from Sketchfab. We actually have to provide that somewhere because it's an attribution license. So we delete the old one and put a new one in here. Okay, so that goes for the billboard and our icon here. And now let's have a look at this blueprint here, our reskin blueprint. Let's have a look first where it actually sits. It's part of the demo room. There's a blueprint directory where also the teleporter is hosted. And here we have the reskinner. Okay, in the viewport looks again quite similar. We have a torus, we have a couple of effects, and then we have our collision sphere, this collision capsule in this case, and the capsule again has an overlap. So what happens on overlap? Yeah, again simple. We want to define a couple of variables that we then create into an event that we can send to the gameplay ability. That is here. And here we give a new ability. So that's an ability that was not there formerly, but now we give it a new ability and send our event and print out some results. The new ability is called GA change skin. And again, we are not planning to go against or to cast against an item. We want to use an interface. The interface here is the reskinner interface with just one single function, get target skin. So which Lyra tagged actor should be used as the next character part. That is something that our reskinner will give to the gameplay animation. The gameplay animation itself is here under abilities, interactions, gameplay abilities, sorry. Here it's on added, ability on ability added, because we get it anew from our reskinner. The ability tag is ability skin change. We have a couple of actors that we define. That is the instigator and the target, the reskinner. We again work against an interface. There's a typo here. It should be the reskin interface. So if it's implemented, it's fine. If not, we ignore everybody coming into our overlap. Then we commit the ability, not much costs here. We get target skin. That was the function that we get from the interface because it's implemented. Then we remove all character parts that are currently there. We add a new character part that we just got from our reskinner. Then we apply some simple effects if we want. And then we broadcast to the client what that client should do. It's important here because we use net execution and policy server only. So that means the client will not have a say in that. We are very, very paranoid here. We say everything happens on the server, so meaning this client only stuff will never be reached. So the only thing that we can do, we can post and push something to the client here on this event. And here, for example, we can again tell everybody that we need some time to change the skin. That's very shortly and we don't react to it, but you could listen to that and react accordingly like we did in other tutorials. Good, that's nearly it. The gameplay ability looks fine. The only thing that we have to do, actually, we have to tell our reskinner what is that target skin, the target actor skin. That is, of course, our tagged actor Starly. So now we have set it here. We will transfer it to the gameplay ability as soon as it's triggered. And then we should trigger this change into the skin. Let's try it out. We are here on our platform. We use the teleporter from the last tutorial. We have a couple of skins here. We are already Starly, so let's change it back. We actually also have a small cooldown, 3 seconds or something. But now let's try it. Yeah, it works. So very simple, very straightforward. Only caveat, if you take models from Sketchfab, look at the license. And the other thing is a couple of them will not rig properly without me actually knowing why. So you have to try around a bit. Thank you very much for listening. See you soon.